All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
There ain't no rules.
There is no plan.
No safety net.
Yeah, baby.
The Three Nose Podcast.
Oh, pitter patter, let's get at her.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Three Nose Podcast.
And what are the three no's?
Well, the three no's are no rules, no plan,
No net.
and no net.
All right.
Just to clarify, no net means we don't edit shit.
That's true.
Now, let's fix what we didn't do last week.
Yep.
I'm Jason.
I'm Mike.
Hi, pleased to meet you, folks.
And this is Coors Light.
And Summersby.
Yay.
Apple.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy spring that's finally showed up.
It's summer.
Well, yeah, it kind of leapt right into summer, didn't it?
That's usual for around here, though.
True.
You get 2 days of spring and then summer's here.
Yeah, well, they said I did see a funny thing on Facebook. They were talking about it. Said it only rained two times this spring.
Yep.
Once for 35 days and the other for 45 days.
Pretty much.
And I went, yeah, I agree with that statement.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Especially the last couple of weeks.
Oh, no.
So waterlogged.
I know. There's so much water.
But they're saying we could be in for a long dry spell. I keep seeing that trickling through the news.
I'm okay with that. I
prefer to bake than freeze, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they said welcome to the Weather Network. I'm expecting a nice summer after the bullshit that we've gone through from the end of winter and early spring.
Yeah, it's just been so miserable.
Oh, I know. But what are you going to do? Anyways.
I don't mind too much of a dry summer, honestly. The less rain, the better, because for some reason, our grass grows like overnight. It will be a foot long.
You got like a septic tank in your backyard or something?
Not that I'm aware of.
Your neighbor's flushing directly into...
that could be. That could be.
You might want to.
I don't know what they're up to over there.
You might want to check on that.
It just seems like our grass grows so quick.
Maybe you should have been a farmer.
Nah.
Nah.
That's too much labor.
Well, a man's got to know his limitations.
Exactly.
So there you go. So what's going on? What's new and exciting?
Oh, not much. I did finish that stage of where I was at in that job, the work I've been doing at work with the inventory thing.
Yeah.
My boss doesn't know where I'm going, what I'm doing next. There's still a lot to do, but they just don't know what order I'm doing it. They have to juggle it because anything that I scan into this new system, they can't use for orders. Oh. So they have to make sure they have enough other stock for me to actually scan, and it's not worthwhile for me to do like one skid of something if that's not enough to keep behind or whatever. So
I got.
They're still working out that details, but there's always work for me to do anyway, so all good. But we did have some excitement this week.
Okay, what happened?
You saw my post probably the other day about an explosion.
You had an explosion at work. See, okay. I'm playing the audience.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't realize
you had
were
an
playing
explosion
a part.
At work.
Yes, not exactly at my work, but in the workshop next door to our warehouse, which shares a wall.
Is the wall still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So now this happened early in the day, we're talking 9 a.m. ish. Between 8:30 and 9, somewhere right around there.
Okay.
Now, I was not in the warehouse at this time. Like I said, I was done that work, so I haven't been in the warehouse for the last few days.
Okay.
I was at the front of the building. I had just taken our cardboard bin out.
Okay.
As I'm coming back to going down, because it's a long trek from the front to the back, there's a boom. I was right next to our server room, and it kind of sounded like it came from in there. And immediately, the lights flickered, the fire alarm started going off.
Yeah.
I took the extra 4 steps to take a peek in the server room just to see if it was in there. I couldn't see nothing. Nothing out of the ordinary. No smoke, no nothing.
Oh, okay. I thought I couldn't see nothing.
No.
It was
that would be seeing something. No, I saw nothing nothing out of the ordinary in the server room.
Okay, there you go.
And then the security guard comes around the corner. He's like, "Get out of the building now." All right. I was already planning to. So I ran out the front door, around the corner, right out the front with the other, again, our shipping department's spread out right now between our old room, which is at the front, and the new room in the back. So all all the old room people were outside and everything. There's about 6 of us out there, and we're waiting. And 20 minutes go by. The alarm's still going off. Fire trucks have came, but they didn't come to the front. They went to the back.
Okay.
Well, then my coworkers, I didn't have my phone on me. I left it at my desk in the shipping office in the back. So I had no idea what's going on. Well, finally, our coworkers from the back started messaging through Facebook. A compressor had blown in the workshop next door. It's like they work on trucks, but they also have a bit of a junkyard thing going on.
Yep.
Apparently, a large compressor exploded.
Fantastic.
And it was connected to the fire suppression system.
Oh, yeah,
So-
because it has to pressurize the system. Yeah, okay. That would definitely bring the fire department.
Now, no one was hurt. No one was in the shop at the time, although there was a guy in there not 5 minutes before.
Ooh.
But the explosion was big enough that it straightened some bent pieces of metal that aren't normally straight. And a sheet of something flew off and cut some other piece of equipment in half.
Wow.
And because the shop's big bay door was open,
Yeah.
all the pressure went that way. Had that door been closed, it very well could have blown through the wall.
Yeah, because it would have went for the weakest part of the structure, and that might have been just your cinder
It might
block
have
wall.
went through that wall. And now, had this happened 2 days prior, I would have been in that warehouse, not 50 feet from that.
Whoops.
I probably would have shit my pants.
I would think at the very least.
At the least, yes.
that would
But our
happen.
warehouse did start flooding through the wall, like from the pipes or whatever on that side,
Yeah.
leaking through and whatnot. It was raining along that wall. Luckily, there's no product there, like no modems or anything like that. That was all kept for our social committee stuff like that. So party favors and swag and all that kind of stuff. I don't think a lot is damaged, like unrecoverable, but I don't know. I didn't stick around for the cleanup. They got a team in for that. So
Yeah. Well, they probably had like disaster restoration.
yeah,
come
exactly.
In,
They had
so-
one of those guys come in
Yeah.
with a team. Plus, they had the team who deal with the social committee stuff. They came in to keep track of their own stuff.
Yeah.
So I wasn't needed. I left.
Yep.
We had no power to the back of the building. There is an emergency generator there, but it only powers the front of the building.
where the servers are.
Basically, yes.
Okay, that makes.
Although
that
it
makes
doesn't
sense.
power the AC system, because that was the next issue they ran into.
Starting to get too hot.
It got really hot in the server room within 10 minutes.
Why wouldn't they have a dedicated air conditioning,
I don't
especially
know.
for your server room?
I don't know, but the one guy who was out front with us, like 10 minutes after this happened, okay, now we have a new problem, and he goes running in there with somebody else. They have this big, fast, and friggin' industrial fan
Yeah.
sticking in the door to pipe air through and everything to keep it under control, which works apparently. But
So okay, this has happened before. By the sounds of it, if he's
yes.
enacted this protocol, this is an ongoing
I've
issue.
seen it. I've seen it where they've had to have a fan in that server room once before. It was about 2 years ago.
All right,
So I think the AC system was being worked on at the time.
yeah,
so.
time to upgrade your AC system in the server room.
You would think so.
So-
Now, mind you, these servers, as I understand it, these servers don't directly affect our internet services.
So this is like
these
internal.
are the internal networking.
Yeah.
All that stuff is what it primarily houses.
I would
So-
imagine you still want to keep that stuff somewhat protected.
Well, if you want all your 200 or 300 plus people working from home,
Yeah,
you want them to still work.
yeah. You definitely want to keep those things online.
So that was some interesting excitement.
It's
and-
not too often an explosion happens at work. So
No, and yeah, but just glad no one was hurt. Gary and Karen are fine. That's the Canada geese that are have a nest at the back behind the warehouse.
Okay.
So they were fine. Gary came around looking, seeing what all the hubbub was apparently,
Yeah.
but no, everybody's fine there too.
So you did a head count, including the geese and
Yep.
everybody. All right,
Yep.
that's good. They said all's well that ends well.
But like you said, how often does an explosion send you home from work?
No, not too often. They said we've had where I work, we have a bigger chance of explosions versus
You got a lot more equipment.
yeah,
like that, yes.
we deal a lot with heat and gas and compressed air and oil, and they said we run the better odds of having
Yeah.
something blown up. The last time we had a good explosion, what was it? squirrel got into the power plant.
Oh,
Yeah, so we have a substation to ramp up our hydro outside of the main plant. We believe a squirrel had gotten into one of the transformers and committed suicide. That's the only.
I've seen that sort of thing happen.
Yeah.
Not direct witness, but when I was a kid, I was probably like 10.
Yep.
I was playing with some neighborhood kids over on Selkirk Street, across town.
Yep.
Okay, kind of where I live now.
Yep.
There's a substation there that's it's behind a big building off of Grand.
Yep.
We were like one street over from that, and it's middle of the afternoon. Boom.
Yeah.
There's a boom and there's a like lightning, real quick. And we're like, what the hell? And then people start poking their heads out. Hey kids, what happened? Power went out.
Oh.
So we hopped on our bikes, went around to look, and yeah, there's a smoldering squirrel carcass in the middle of the.
Yeah, we had. Oh yeah, with that one squirrel taking out that, we were down for 2 days
Wow.
because it like obliterated the substation.
Oh, that's bigger than what my squirrel did.
So the hydro company had to come in, obviously, to fix everything that was like destroyed with the squirrel, and they brought in we have backup generators in the plant. We have a small one to maintain like server farm that we have there, and like critical things. Not going to run a factory on this little Generac generator. So the hydro company brought in a larger generator to try and get some of our systems up and running. And they're going like, how much electricity do you guys use? And we're just like, just hook it up and let's go. But yeah, we were down for quite a while. And then it became like, the running joke was like everybody's going to bring in like a jar of peanut butter and just start throwing handfuls of peanut butter over the fence. And
you want a couple days off?
Yeah.
Quick, get the chunky.
So we've had our share. We've had like we have a lot of like stack fires where like with the exhaust that we have coming out of that has a oil buildup inside the stack fire. Every once in a while, one of those will catch on fire. Just if you're sitting there boring, like all of a sudden fire, and is
that when you grab the marshmallows?
No, that's when you grab your ass and run because the instructions, the standing instructions that we have for the Chatham Fire Department is if there's a stack fire, get up on the roof as fast as you can, hose the roof down, cool the roof down.
Okay,
because it's easier to replace a smokestack than it is the entire roof of a factory.
That's true.
So
makes sense.
So they get up there, and there's been a couple times it's been just raining inside the plant as the fire department is just drenching the roof to try and keep everything cool. And all the water that comes into the plant inevitably ends up in our oil quench tanks, spoiling thousands of gallons of quench oil. That it starts out like as black as that phone screen, and then when they're done with it, it looks like chocolate milk, and it's trashed. You can't use it anymore.
But again, it's probably a lot cheaper to replace that than it is to replace a building.
Absolutely. So you just look at this. One of the fires that we were there, I was working in one of the outbuildings. And like we all kind of our heads popped up because we could smell smoke, and we're going like that's.
So it doesn't like explode or it just catches fire.
It just catches fire and just. Woof.
So there's nothing to immediately tell you something bad other than the smell.
No, the smell is usually the first thing. Like that's not a normal smell. So we go running out. We have a bay door, and we went running out to the bay door, and we looked up we're at the stacks, and there's this plume of gray-green smoke coming out of the stacks, and we're going, that's wrong.
Was there a red fiery eyeball staring at you from inside of it?
No. Like I was just like, if this
who's got the one ring?
That's right. If it was like at night, that smokestack probably would have been glowing red. It would have been the beacon of Gondor kind of thing. And like we're going, oh shit, and we run around the building, and we go into one of the other bay doors, and we get into the bay door, and there's just this fog of I'm assuming it's fire retardant.
Okay.
Like the dry chemical fire retardant.
Right.
And I see my one buddy come staggering.
Oh, he got it blasted.
Oh, he got blasted hard. He was white from head to toe, and like he's like trying to rub his eyes, and he's choking. And I go, "You all right?" I think I am. And so we hustle him over to one of the sinks, and we start getting him cleaned up. And I go, "What the fuck happened?" Come to find out, some of the maintenance guys were up above one of the oil quench tanks, and they were doing some welding. But they thought they had themselves covered because they'd taken a tarp and put a tarp in between their welding and the oil.
And how long did that tarp last?
One piece of slag. And so that piece of slag dropped off that right through the tarp, right into the full oil quench, and woof, up she goes.
Idiots.
Idiots. Oh yeah. So we have these things. They are 150-pound dry chemical tanks on wheels, like for fire suppression, because we don't have like a sprinkler system throughout the plant. So we have these dry chem things that we can drag wherever we need. There's 4 of them, like right in that one specific area. They emptied all 4.
Wow.
And I'm just going like, is it out? Oh yeah, we finally got it out. I was like, damn man, that was everything that we had in the shop to try and stop fires, and you used every last drop of it. So it was like, sure hope nothing else goes up today. So,
Wow.
because we did that the one time, we had a power failure. And we were standing, me and a bunch of other people were standing at the one end of the plant. And all of a sudden, we hear this bzzz, poof. That is the fire suppression system that's built into the quench tanks.
Okay.
The heat was building because there's no exhaust fans anymore. So they're not pushing the heat up. So the heat gets into the smokestacks and everything else. When it gets too hot, that's when it starts to combust. And the suppression system like gives a buzz, a bzzz. That's enough of a warning for you to hit the deck, because 1 second later, poof. And we're just like, oh shit. And it was just like boom, boom, boom. Every single one in the line.
Huh.
There was like 3 or 4 heat treat lines that we have there. They all popped off right, like one right after the other.
Wow.
We're just like, that's a mess. Oh, I'm not cleaning that shit up. So we've had our share of explosions and fires, and nothing scary.
No major injuries or anything like that?
The one very scary situation that we had, I was working on the one line, and all of a sudden I saw a bunch of people run by. I went, that's odd.
That's never good. Like, I've seen enough movies to know when a crowd runs by you, usually not good.
So I'm working. I'm on a forge. So basically,
here comes the T-Rex.
Yeah, I'm just like, what's going on? So I reach over and I shut my conveyor off. And I, what's going on? All of a sudden, one of the women's running by. She stops. She goes, go, go, go. We gotta go. We gotta go. And I'm going like, what is going on? She goes, she points down the one aisleway, and there's a white fog billowing down this hallway. And that's when I get the whiff of the rotten eggs.
Uh-oh.
Somebody was cleaning out a water quench tank, and they had a small forklift, and they were picking up a basket, and they weren't really paying attention to how high they were going. So they picked up, all of a sudden, bang, they banged into, they thought it was one of the rafters. So they give it a little pop. It was a 2.5-inch natural gas line.
Eek.
Yeah.
Eek.
And my place is nothing but open fire.
Yeah.
So
damn, that is scary.
It was kind of scary.
Because that'll take the whole building with it.
Yeah. So the guy that did it, like he was instantly knew what was going. But luckily he was one of the older guys. He knew exactly where to go. So he ran and he found one of the main shutoffs. So he's like shutting the gas off to the entire plant.
Okay.
As the plant is filling up with natural gas. Everybody that's not involved in that operation is run for the fucking hills, because at any second that the mix of
Something's gonna.
fuel, air, and combustion is going to mix properly, and it's just going to be bang. Luckily, it was handled fast enough that you didn't get that magic mixture.
Okay.
And everybody got out. They did the head count, and everybody was accounted for, and we're just like, fucking dodged that bullet, didn't we, boys?
Damn.
So that was probably one of the scariest.
Do you go on TikTok at all?
No.
I do every once in a while, just when I'm really, really, really bored.
Okay.
And there's a TikTok thing that goes around where it's people showing like questionable workplace occurrences.
Yeah.
And it's, come with me and you'll be in a world of OSHA violations. And it's like, I've seen like weird ladder stacking. I've seen people fooling around with forklifts and pump jacks and all sorts of stuff. Those are probably some of my favorite ones.
I've seen some of those videos like on YouTube and stuff like that going. You go down that rabbit hole and you're just going like, this dude is so fucked up right now.
When I was working at Home Depot and they said I was finally going to get my forklift license, I made the mistake of checking out forklift fails on YouTube for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
I was scared shitless.
Yeah. Well, a good healthy dose of fear goes a long way on a forklift.
Oh, yeah.
So we had, okay, every day in my place, there's a forklift running into something that's
You've told me so many of these stories.
Every one of our pillars in there has got a hole the size of a fork punched through it, and like everything's been run into, and it's just one of those things. Like pedestrians, they say pedestrians have the right of way.
You have the right to be a speed bump.
You have the right to be like, it's a cross between Frogger and like a squirrel trying to run across the street.
If you can dodge a forklift, you can dodge a ball.
Pretty much, because there's sometimes it's you swear these guys are gunning for you, and there's been.
Have you talked to them? Do they have a point system maybe, and you're just not in on it?
I think they're just trying to move up seniority ladder by taking out high seniority people.
There we go. Yep.
So
it's like their version of Death Race.
That's about it. That's about it. But you're not getting any more money for taking out a high seniority guy. You're just going to get maybe a little more job security.
Hey, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, so
in this day and age especially.
Oh, yeah. Well, I believe, looking at the manpower for this week for this work, I think we're almost back up to full power.
Okay.
So
now, in general, in your place, most people like spread out anyways, like the 6 foot distance, all that stuff. Like, is there enough space in most places?
Yeah, yeah. You know, we're talking about the social awkwardness of the situation. A lot of the guys, like the line work, the only time you're going to possible contact is when you're being relieved from your position, like you're moving from position to position. I'm just trying to think. There on the paint line, there might be some situations where people are close,
but they're already masked and whatnot, aren't they?
No. This is like.
I would have thought paint you'd have to wear.
No, this is at the end of it.
Oh, okay.
So everything like dry and
okay.
This is basically QA auditing positions.
Gotcha.
So there's work cells. Usually the work cells are spread apart. There's no problem with that. The paint line, I think there's some chances where you will get close. Okay. And they're trying to figure out how to do that.
They'll be able to work something out, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. And then there's another
like I really don't expect to see much people at my work in that office anytime soon. No. You know, our cubicles are tight enough and all that. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Speaking of cubicles, my brother sent me a picture of his office. And he worked I think it was 2 or 3 weeks at home. And then he got called back. Yep, you're coming back to the office on the start of the week. He goes, what? He goes, we've taken precautions. So
Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy, basically. So he gets to work and he snaps a picture of that. They have spent thousands of dollars on plexiglass, and each desk basically is your plexiglass off.
Okay.
So there's like you're in a
They're
bubble.
in a zoo.
You're in a zoo.
There is-
Yeah,
there-
you
there-
are.
there-
It's like the Magneto's plastic prison
Oh,
from
yeah, okay.
X2 or something like that.
Okay.
So these guys are like surrounded in plexiglass, and they think that's good. We'll go from there. It's just like, all right. Then it's just
A few of the
that.
grocery stores have done that with their tills now.
Yes,
Where they've actually made little booths.
yes. I actually when they first did that, I remember going to Walmart, and they had the plexiglass in
Yep.
between you and the cashier, and she was a quiet talker. And I'm just like,
I've seen a couple of those.
I'm like, what? And she says something. So I'm leaning around the plexiglass. What was that? And she leans in a little bit closer to me, and we have our conversation. And I'm just like, it kind of defeats the purpose of the plexiglass, doesn't it? So
It doesn't help that you already have a hearing problem.
oh,
so.
I know. I ran into that at McDonald's earlier this week.
Oh, yeah?
It pissed me off. So I go to make my order, and I hear wah. I'm like, right. I'm assuming that's you have
Normally they're pretty clear. So
right. I thought so too. So I assumed that was confirmation of my order.
Okay.
So wait in line. It's kind of lunchtime, so it's kind of busiest. I get up to the first window, and the girl working it, I know she's talking because I can see the mask moving. I go, I can't hear you. So she bends down a little bit, and the mask moves again. And so I cannot hear you. She pulls her mask off. There's that little porthole like
Yeah.
this. She goes, what did you order? So I gave her my order. And she goes, oh, we don't have that. I'm going, what? She goes, no, we never got it. It's not on the list. I went, fine, fuck it. I'm going to go. Never mind. I don't like, it's just a giant waste of time. And like I said, if the person taking the order has a mask and they're quiet talking and they're muffled because the microphone is on the outside of the mask, like nobody can hear the communication. I was talking to my buddy about this. Like, he's deaf in one ear, so we're having the same issue where hearing impaired people, like a lot of it, I read lips. I'm really good at determining what you're trying to
Really?
say by watching. If you look at, like, if you watch how I'm doing, I'll look at you like on your face a lot, and I'm watching your mouth.
I'm already thinking, how can I fuck with them? How can I fuck with them?
Yeah, right. Do you want to do that? Do you? So-
Oh, I know the repercussions will be coming. I'm not stupid.
No, but it's that thing. Like, anybody that's like totally deaf, even partially deaf, is having a fuck
Oh,
of a
yeah.
time with masks.
If you rely on lip reading at all, yeah, you're screwed right now.
So when that first came out, like, that was talking about masks. I'm just like, I am so fucked. And I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to have to.
Crystal's work opens to the public next week.
Oh, yeah.
On Wednesday.
Yeah.
And they got to do the masks and the gloves, and they've got temporary shields up that they can take down easy if they need to at the
Yeah.
service and all. But it's just what they have to do right now.
Yeah, like the gloves, unless you're changing your gloves every time you touch something, you're making things worse.
There's been enough explanation of that exact point that why are they still mandating it? Like, it's been proven that all you're doing is you're protecting yourself, but you're still spreading it to everybody else.
Yeah, you're
like,
cross-contaminating everything else that you touch.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you put on a fresh pair of gloves. You grab this can of beer, put it down. Now you're supposed to change gloves, put a new pair of gloves on, pick up your phone, put the phone down, take your gloves off, put a new pair of gloves on, grab glasses.
Nope.
This is all you're better off.
I wear gloves at work only when I'm dealing with return modem boxes and whatnot, and that's not even because of COVID. That's always been the practice because you don't know what you're getting in there.
That's true.
I cleaned a modem the other day. A fresh antiseptic wipe thing that we use for cleaning these things. Fresh. It was dark brown. One fucking modem.
Nice.
How people can live that way baffles me. That just... I was surprised there wasn't cockroach pieces in the box.
Do
honestly.
you mask up when you do?
No.
You would be better off, like especially doing returns and stuff like this. You masking up because you don't know what pathogen is coming out of there.
That was a concern for a little while, but they deemed it's because particularly right now, COVID-19. It's been proven it doesn't stick to that type of stuff.
Oh, I'm not talking about COVID-19. I'm just talking like roach and animal.
That does
stuff.
get to be a concern every once in a while, but it's pretty minimal, honestly. It's like we do get the odd cockroach box.
Yeah.
They've had a few that reek of like cat piss and whatnot, but it's not enough to warrant it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So
it's like just one of those ones where it's just like you don't know what is coming out of that box as soon as you open it up. You're just like,
exactly.
You need to get one of those the vacuum hoods that scientists use with the big robo glove arms.
That would really slow down the process.
Well, would you rather a slow process or living to a ripe old age?
I'd rather live dangerously. Thank you.
Okay then. Well, in that case, I'm not going to stop you.
I laugh in the face of danger.
No, you don't.
I know. Sounded good at the time.
So you have something you wanted to bring up.
Yes. As I was telling you before we started here, basically after
I was going to say it sounds suspiciously like a plan, but
not exactly a plan, just thoughts that I'd like to bring up. Okay. So I don't call it a plan. They're just open thoughts.
Okay. Notes to self.
Yes. Particularly as I was explaining to you. So after I take my bedtime medicine.
Once you get high before you go to bed.
Yes. Sometimes things hit me and I don't always remember them the next day.
No,
so I grab my phone and I make a quick note.
Do you type it or do you talk into it?
Type usually. It takes me a few tries, but depending on how deep I am.
You have a voice memo.
I know, but half the time it doesn't understand what I'm saying. No, I'm not trying to recite a chicken recipe. That's what it sounds like sometimes. So the first one here. Okay, I've always been, and I'm sure we've discussed this, but there's an algorithm out there. We know they're listening to us through our phones and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
But I've seen proof now. That it's gone beyond them listening.
Really?
Yes, I had it. Now, chalk it up to sheer coincidence, maybe. But I think, honestly, this is what it made me feel, that YouTube is reading my mind.
There's been a couple times where I've hopped on Google to do something, and the predictive is like, whoa, that's...
That happens all the time, yes, and that's a little creepy, but I can kind of chalk that up to sometimes a thought that I'm having or something I'm searching on Google, maybe a new trend or something, so that would put it near the top of the algorithm. Yeah. So I can chalk that up, but this is something different.
Okay.
So I was at Walmart a week ago.
Okay.
And I was walking through, and I had to go get something from the automotive section. I think I got a can of oil or something for my car. And I walked by the DVDs. Okay. And they had a little thing there that had a bunch of the DC animated features.
All right. Yeah,
which I've seen pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
And I like almost all of them.
Okay.
And I saw there was one there, and I'd seen it, Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay.
I've never even heard of that one.
It came out about 2 years ago, I think. Deals a lot. It's a really cool bit. It's got Reverse Flash in it, and it was really, really cool. And it was one of the last ones, I think, before they did this new line or do something like that. It doesn't quite fit with a lot of the other ones, but it does have some threads or something. Bronze Tiger is a big character in it.
Tyler.
I think that's his name. But of course, Harley is like
Yeah,
one of the main
okay.
characters, right? I'd seen it. I haven't watched it pretty much since it first came out. I enjoyed it, but it's just not one I've gone back to recently. But I thought to myself, I'm thinking to myself, I should revisit that one. I dug it. I should revisit it.
Yeah.
3 days later, YouTube's recommending the pinnacle, like, climax clip from that film. I didn't talk about this with anyone. I didn't mention this movie to anyone else at all. I looked at the fucking DVD case in Walmart and thought this in my head. And 3 days later, YouTube's recommending that clip to me.
Did you have your phone in your hand?
No,
Wow. Oh, yeah.
my phone was in my pocket.
Chest pocket or pants pocket?
Pants.
Oh. Maybe, just maybe, there's an RFID chip.
It's something. I don't know. Just amazing coincidence or whatever. I don't know.
I don't believe in coincidences in my
most
business.
parts, you're right. I don't either. Just that freaked me out.
Yeah, that's something. That's something.
You know, I've seen it so many times. We're talking about something, and then all of a sudden now Google's recommending this, and you know, Facebook ads for this, or in YouTube. You know,
did you follow or turn off ad tracking on Facebook?
I'm not sure if I did or not.
Yeah, I did, and the shit that's rolling, because I was talking my friends that I go to visit all the time. They were the ones that told me about turning the ad tracking off, and I did, and I get some of the weirdest shit because it's no longer targeted. So they're just throwing.
Okay.
Maybe he'll click on this link.
I obviously haven't turned it off because I'm still getting inundated with ads for Raycons, which I already bought.
Yeah.
And for the dice set I bought.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I bought a new D&D dice set.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting ads for that company.
That my favorite thing is an ad will show up on Facebook. I don't hide it. I report it as like offensive or something like that. So like I've gotten several responses from Facebook saying this isn't offensive. It is to me.
I actually just recently reported a Pokemon trainer locally.
Really?
For an offensive name. How I even got through their system, I don't know. But they had a trainer name, and they've been around a while because they were higher level than me. But their trainer name was Fist Me Daddy.
Wow.
Fist Me Daddy with some numbers at the end.
Holy cow, how did that get through?
I don't know, but I reported it, and the next day I got a response. Yes, we agree that name is definitely offensive. That trainer will now have to change their nickname.
Fucking rat.
Yep.
Fucking rat. Rat sheep.
Yep.
Rat sheep.
Meh.
Snake. Yeah. No, the I was concerned about tracking as well, because I was more concerned about like the contact tracking apps that are now becoming like Alberta has opened up a contact tracking app that people voluntarily put on their phone, and I'm just like, fuck.
This is the thing that they want to push for COVID exposure, right?
Everybody, they want to do that. They want to jam that into everybody's phone.
No.
The contact tracking. So I got a little conscious about tracking and stuff like that. So I went through my phone and I shut off all like ad tracking. I actually got rid of Google like as my primary search engine. Like I researched, I go like non-tracking search engines, and there's one called DuckDuckGo. You can actually go right into your phone, and there's a setting in general.
I remember seeing that. I've never looked at it too deep.
Yeah. So you go into it. You find Safari or whatever search, and it has a thing for search engine, and it defaults to Google. You can click on that and you can change it. And DuckDuckGo is one of the ones here that I have in my phone already, and it does not track you.
Huh.
So, a healthy dose of paranoia is fine. Is just because you think they are looking at it doesn't mean they're not looking for you. So,
Well, you know how if plans hold, we're supposed to have Whiskey Wednesday
Shush.
coming up.
kayfabe.
But it's been recommended that the first movie we watch is 1984.
Absolutely.
I've never
Absolutely.
seen that movie.
I started to read the book, and I got 5 chapters in, and I put it down because it fucking terrified me. No, seriously.
Really?
Like it was like, oh my God. It is like
We're living it?
we're living it. It really feels like we're in the police state. I was talking to Scamahorn a while ago, and there was remember the G20 protests in Toronto years and years ago.
It's ringing a bell, yeah.
Yeah, where they had all the protesters, and the police were kind of trapping everybody in the middle of intersections and arresting the protesters and stuff like this.
Okay, yeah.
And everybody's going, "Oh, it's a fucking police state. It's a police state," like this. Talking to Scamahorn, he goes, "This is not a police state. This is just police arresting protesters." A while back, like maybe a week or so ago, we were talking, and he goes, "Oh yeah, welcome to the police state." Because that conversation we had about the protesters, it goes, "You don't want a police state. Like, this is nothing. This, like, what was happening then is nothing. What is happening now? Like, that dude in New Brunswick was given a ticket for $282.50 for sitting in a parking lot of a Tim Hortons."
I hadn't heard about that one.
Yeah, that's the latest one. So this dude went to Tim Hortons, came around, parked, other people in the parking lot. The staff at Tim Hortons called the police. Police comes over. "Excuse me, sir, you're going to have to leave."
What
Why?
was he doing wrong?
Sitting.
In his car.
He's sitting in his car, drinking his coffee. Cop comes over. "You're going to have to leave." Why? "You're in violation of the emergency something." The guy goes, "Oh, I can't believe that." Like, there's audio of it.
Uh-huh.
And the cop goes from 0 to 60.
Oh, boy.
And he goes, "Fine. I tried to be nice. Here's your fine for $292. If you don't leave now, I'm going to charge you with trespass. And you're no longer allowed to come back to Tim Hortons, because if you step foot on this property again, you will be charged with trespass." The guy goes, "All Tim Hortons?" The cop goes, "No, just this one in particular. But if you come back here, you will be charged with trespass." And the guy goes, "Oh,
How bored was that cop that day?
I don't know." But he
That's
said,
utterly ridiculous.
yeah, but he fucking buried the needle after the guy goes, I like he wasn't insulting the cop. He was like, it was just like
questioning that law.
Yeah,
Like,
it was an incredulous. "Oh, I can't believe that." And the cop, bam, there you go.
that's crazy.
Yep. There's so much of this going on, and it's getting
Like,
worse.
I've heard stories, like particularly in Ottawa, was getting a lot of people getting tickets for being in parks and stuff, and that was a month ago.
Yeah,
Like, now they're starting to open things up, and people are going too far with it.
and they're still getting ticketed. So
I haven't heard as many stories, but I still see one or two.
it's happening. It's not widespread, but it's happening enough where you just kind of go, "Oh, you make a rule, then you make a statement that almost contradicts that rule, but it's gray enough where the people that are listening to this are going like, I don't know," because there was this one, Aurora, Ontario. There was a woman walking her dog, pushing her kid in a stroller through a city park on the path, which you were allowed to be on the path, but the park was closed. Don't understand the logic of that. But she's walking down the path. She sees an older couple approaching. She kind of steps off to let them pass.
Right.
As she's checking her phone as they go like this, a cop runs up. I've been watching. You've been standing here too long. You're in
God.
contrivance of this law. $880 ticket. Just stuff like that. So, hey, 1984, I believe it.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Oh, that turns my stomach.
That's what it is.
Honestly, I expected us to have at least one conversation with a police officer in all this time with us driving around doing our Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
No, we've had a couple drive by us, but none have ever stopped to question us, to talk to us, or anything like that.
Yeah.
None.
There was Monster Barbell Club. They actually had 2 police walk up to check them out the one night.
Really?
Yeah. So there was a handful of them at Monster Barbell Club is a storage garage gym, and it's basically it opens up to the public. It's like the front of the unit opens up. So there's a handful of guys. Can't remember it was under 5.
All right.
So the police drive by, back up. And they come in, they did a head count. And all right, you guys like just separate a little bit. It's like, what? So it's ridiculous. Now they're talking Doug Ford has announced that he's relaxing that, and now groups of up to 10 can now congregate
Oh,
together.
is that official now?
I
know
don't know if
they're
it's
talking about
they
it.
were talking about. I don't know if it's official yet,
Okay.
but it was like getting close to that. I don't know.
We hope it's going to get better, but is it really?
It's hard to say because the numbers are. You don't know the exact numbers anymore. The information that's being leaked out, or not leaked out, but the information that's being put out is from one side only. The censorship of the opposing, like the counter arguments, is rampant. YouTube has just gone batshit crazy with pulling down videos of dissenting or opposing. Not the government is like spraying COVID on everybody from this thing. It's like actual doctors and scientists that don't have the narrative that is being pushed on it. Like they're going like, there's other things going on here. YouTube's going, nope, bam, shut down. You only get one side of the message. It's bad. It's real bad. And the trying to work through the censorship and trying to get the right, not even the right, but the full picture to like the information that they give us is one-sided information. But if you think critically, they're like, okay, there's more to the science than what they're telling us. And you go looking for it, and you can't find it because it's being buried. So you give us the information and let us decide. But because Papa JT don't like it when we think for ourselves, so
Yep. He who controls the information controls everything.
That's great. That's absolutely correct. So it sucks. It really sucks. And that kind of goes into kind of an epiphany that I had earlier in the week. And I think I mentioned it to you, and I said I wanted to like sit on it until we talked about it here.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, she did mention that. Yeah.
So I was thinking about like podcasts in general and how I'm really trying to like it was earlier in the week, so I was.
That's why you write it down.
I know. But I was trying to keep the thread in the forefront of my head of all of this, and it was something along the lines of podcasters are like almost the last bastion of free speech. Nobody's telling me and you what to say. We sit here and we discuss openly the thoughts that come into our heads. We don't have a producer. This is the ultimate form of free speech. Now you get guys like news programs and stuff. Yes, they have their agenda that they're pushing and stuff like this. You all right? Sweaty?
No, yeah, it's
Okay. You're weepy?
just feeling my eyes starting to.
Oh.
And I've taken allergy meds today, so I don't know what's going on.
All right. No, but regular people, when they sit down in front of microphones and record these shows, this is like the ultimate expression of free speech. And
At times, I find it therapeutic.
Absolutely.
Venting and
Yeah.
and all. And yeah.
well, see, that's one of the things I was like, what do you think podcasting means to you? Like, to me, it is the ultimate form of free speech. It is an outlet of creativity that I don't normally have. We get to create things that could really last forever. A lot of people are doing it, and so that's even better, because the more people that do it, the bigger the potosphere becomes, and it becomes an art form.
On the other side of that, though, the more people that do it, the closer it's going to get to some sort of regulation. Eventually.
But I think it's really hard to put that genie back in the bottle when
That all comes down to that whole net neutrality and all that
Right.
kind of stuff,
Right.
right? Which
so you look at
you never know where that's going to land anymore.
no, that's for sure. You look at your hosting platforms. That is where you run into a lot of things. I never ran into any issues with Libsyn or any of the other platforms that I use. Anchor, the one that we're using right now, they're just like, go put it out.
Run
Like,
free.
Run free, run far. But when they distribute it, you get on to like Google Play and Spotify and iTunes
yeah.
and stuff. Then they have a chance to review and air quote review it and possibly censor episodes and stuff like that. Because if as a producer, as a content creator, if we say something that we feel is right but goes against the narrative that the platform feels, they'll be taking it off. Just like what YouTube is doing. YouTube is taking down videos left, right, and channels. And
there's a few YouTubers I've seen ranting about the changes YouTube's made over the last year or so
Yeah.
that have really changed the game. It's changed monetizing and stuff like that. So they're not. There's a large chunk of them that aren't making the kind of money they used to
No.
because of the changes, and they can't adapt their style to fit the new system.
No, and that is the problem, because those creators, when YouTube was wide open and free, those creators helped build YouTube, and those creators were compensated for their hard work. And then YouTube goes, when YouTube gets past a certain tipping point, and they become bigger than the creators, then they can start dictating.
And they're making their own content now.
Yeah.
YouTube Originals, it exists. I know of one film that I've seen from that.
Yeah.
It's called Bodied. It was produced by Eminem, because it's all about the battle rap scene.
Okay.
It's not a documentary, it's a movie about this ginger kid from college who's writing a thesis about battle raps, and he gets into the battle rap world. I love the movie. I've watched it a few times.
Okay.
But it's a YouTube original film. Did you know they even do that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, and that came out like 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
Yes, I don't know how many more they've done, but it's like they have the subscription service, YouTube Red, is it called?
Yes.
So, and it's a part of that. Like,
Yeah.
So they have their own YouTube content now, like original programming, if you will.
Wow. Okay. No, I didn't realize that. I just spent a lot of time fucking with my algorithm with just bouncing through random shit just to.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I just look, hey, what's trending out? Oh, that looks interesting. Okay, I'll check that.
Yeah.
And that leads down farther and farther. Yeah.
Well, that, like I said, that I'm cognizant of the algorithm every time I log on.
I've got my 4 or 5 go-to channels that
Yeah.
I'm subscribed that I watch every time they put up something new or whatever. But in general, it's okay. Where's this going to lead?
Yeah.
Where's that
Yeah.
going to go?
Well, at least there was, what was the one? The latest rabbit hole has been like the cop blocking videos where people go out and they'll try and like they'll bait the cops into like First Amendment infractions and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous nonsense, and it's just wasting everybody's time. But
The young people getting arrested, they did something wrong, and then they're saying their rights are being trampled.
right,
Yeah. that
So it is and it isn't an interesting thing to me. It's just like, well, what can I make my algorithm bring me more? And it's simple. You watch 2 or 3 videos like that, and all of a sudden you start to see these video
I
suggestions.
go through phases where I'll flip through public freakout videos, crazy car driving videos, highway chases, stuff like that, and road rage. I got really hooked on, what was it, Stop a Douchebag, I think it's called, out of Russia.
Yes, I know that.
I got hooked on that one for a while.
Yep.
So I tend to go through phases with those types of things, but a lot of time it just ends up being something random, or one thing leads to another, which leads to another, and you don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, you said you start falling down that rabbit hole, and you look at the suggested videos on the right as you're watching one, and you kind of scroll through, like, oh, what's this? And you click on that, and you just like, oh, what's this? And you click on
Mine's
that.
really interesting right now because of all those clips that I've gathered for the intros and outros. Like,
Yeah, I could imagine.
I'm getting all sorts of weird movie clips now, stuff I've never heard of. But it's kind of similar.
Yeah, no, not really, but speaking of the podcast pantheon,
Yep.
have you heard about Joe Rogan's deal?
Something about CBS.
No. Joe Rogan signed an exclusive contract with Spotify.
Spotify. Oh,
$100 million.
that's it.
Yeah. And like I said, he's moving his library over there. The one announcement that I heard is he's leaving YouTube. He's going to take all his content, video included, and he's moving it over to Spotify. I didn't even know Spotify did video content.
Neither did I.
So
I've always ever heard it just as the music and whatever.
Right. So the thing that
I don't use Spotify. I've never even looked at the damn thing. So
I got it, and it's the biggest. Like, this podcast is on Spotify.
okay,
So
I should look at Spotify. I know enough people that all use it and they all swear by it. So it's maybe I should look
it's
at
the
that.
biggest audio warehouse, I guess, like provider of audio out there right now. And if I gotta think, if Rogan's moving his stuff over there, like he has an integrity that he has to keep, and he can't just do stuff willy-nilly. So I think him moving over into Spotify is his way of saying, like, this is the thing that I trust the most out of all the things that are out there. So,
Well, you got to think with the changes YouTube's made, he probably took a hit too.
oh, absolutely. Well, he even talks about it. He's had guests on his show, and the guest has a YouTube channel, and it has a relevant video on this dude's channel. The guy goes, if you go to my YouTube channel and play this video, and Rogan goes, we can't. It'll get pulled. We'll lose monetization. We'll get a community guidelines strike. Said we can't. He can't. The guest is sitting across from him, and he can't play that guest's. The guest is giving him permission to play the video, and YouTube goes, no, You can't. You're violating that guy's trademark.
That's crazy.
And the dude sitting from me to you away, it's like, play my video. You'll understand what I'm trying to say more clearly. And YouTube's going, nope. And like Rogan went on a rant recently about the censorship of videos on YouTube. And I think that was one of the reasons he made that decision to jump over to Spotify. And
Xander's getting really upset with, I don't know if it's just YouTube, because it might be happening on TikTok too, but because Xander's such a music nut, right? He's almost becoming a little too pretentious about it at times.
Okay.
But he's also into some really weird eclectic shit, and some of it I get, some of it I don't. But he's got a problem where people are using music. They're doing like lip sync videos and stuff.
Oh, that's a big TikTok thing.
But they have to either up the tempo, change the pitch slightly, something so that they don't get a copyright strike.
Right.
But they're changing it enough so that it doesn't sound the same exactly. But to Xander, it sounds horrible. It's driving him crazy
Because
Crystal was going through on TikTok last night,
Yeah.
and these were coming up, and it's like, he's like every other one. Xander's like,
you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
and they're just adjusting the pitch or the tempo or something to change it enough so that they don't get a copyright strike.
Well, TikTok has a bad taste in my mouth anyways, because it's owned by the Chinese government.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Basically,
geez.
it's the if I remember correctly, I had to go. The U.S. military has banned their members from using TikTok because it is such a security risk.
Really? Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. Like
Damn.
that Huawei phones, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
I heard that whole.
Sure, this is coming like with this iPhones. I don't know. I believe Apple really isn't in bed with the Chinese government as much. Like Huawei is basically owned by the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, whatever your Huawei phone sees is like ending up in a Chinese database someplace. So you're gonna have to do your own thing. That's why the Americans are so gung ho.
What's he doing today? Oh, he's just looking up granny porn again.
That's a boathead. Well, if you got nothing to hide, then you shouldn't be worried about surveillance. No,
it doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way. But that's the argument.
Just because I don't care if you know my business doesn't mean I want you to know my business.
Exactly. That's the argument a lot of people say. Look, if you're not hiding anything, why do you got to be worried? They said, it doesn't matter if I have anything to hide. I don't want somebody else looking at my shit. Mm-hmm. So hide it or not. Just don't look at my phone.
Yeah.
Don't look at my phone. I'm actually to the point now where I'm thinking about getting rid of this and just going to a fucking flip phone.
No, you won't.
Because
you think you can, but then you're going to break down and get a new one.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't see it happening, dude. I'm not trying to challenge you. No. I just don't see it happening.
I'm just telling. This is what I have on my phone right now. Weather Network, a 1010 game, like a block puzzle game.
Okay.
Gmail, Messenger, Pocket Cast, and Discord. That's it.
Wow.
That's all I got on my phone. Plus, like the
built-in stuff.
Yeah, the background stuff I can't get rid of. That's it.
Not me.
I know.
I got a bunch more games and shit.
Well, you see, I got rid of I used to have fitness tracking and stuff like this. I'm going, oh wait a minute, what's the key to where that? Oh yeah, tracking. So
yeah,
I'm really itchy about people knowing, like governments knowing where I'm at. So I have nothing to hide. I'm still not happy with you knowing that I don't have anything to hide. and I don't care to have you know where I'm at. It's supposed to be free country. And they said the more freedom we get, the fucking tighter the screws get turned on us, it seems to me. Anyways.
It's a free country. You just can't go to a park.
Fuck. Really? I know. That's the fuck. It was the erosion of our freedoms. And I get there's air quote state of emergency over a virus that's 99.89 or 99% survivability. I know, I get it. And we kind of broke it down last night when I was at my friend's place. We are fairly certain we were exposed to somebody that might have had corona back in December. So,
Oh, I'm sure everyone has at some point.
Yeah.
By now.
yeah. So if I was exposed in December, does that mean I have the immunity now? Because from December to now, I haven't had a single symptom.
Yeah, when they say that you're asymptomatic, how long does that last? I've never heard that.
Nobody has ever given a straight answer about asymptomatic. Like, we assume, like, if you get the vid, it's like a week of hell.
Yeah.
Or
They say up to 2 weeks. Something like that. Yeah.
There's whatever. We're now like 6 months into this. I haven't had a single symptom. I don't know.
See, that's a problem I have was with the symptoms. Well, half the symptoms from it are the same symptoms I feel all the damn time from my fucking allergies.
Yeah. So
how am I supposed to know?
Exactly. The only way to know is to go get the test.
I'm not sticking a Q-tip up my nose.
Well, no, a nurse does that. Tilt your head back, shoots your.
Do you remember former listener we used to have, Ryan Haskell?
Yes.
He still listens. And
Really?
I saw him in passing today, and he said he did start to check out last week's episode of this one, but he wasn't able to stick to it. Something came up, but he'll be coming back.
Nice.
But he's
Thanks,
had
Ryan.
it done because he's a DSW.
Oh, yeah.
So he's had it done a couple times, I think he said.
Mags had
And
it done.
He said it sucks.
Oh, yeah. Well, I said I talked to Mags about it. She said, yeah, where she works, everybody had to get tested. And when she got done, she came back from I go, how'd it go? She goes, it was all right. And that was the end of it. And I went,
She don't want to talk about it. She's been violated.
So she was like, oh, all right. So,
PTSD for
That's about
COVID
it.
testing subjects.
so she was not exactly happy about that testing, but it is what it is. Like you said, it's for the protection of the people that they care for, and it's for their own protection. Like the outbreak that happened where she worked was because of two stupid people, and it did exactly what a virus is supposed to do, and it's designed to spread until the stops got put in place, and then it stopped. So it didn't expand any farther than the initial contacts. Now you look at the migrant worker, the greenhouse thing that happened in here. There's almost 100 people. Like we'll call it 100. They all got infected at the same time, just like that, because they all work in bunkhouses. They all live in bunkhouses at the greenhouse. All of them survived. They all recovered. Nobody went to the hospital. Nobody died. Now, I would assume that the migrant workers are youngish, healthy.
From what I understand, yeah.
Yeah, youngish, healthy, and they managed to fight it off. This, like the virus, targets old and
Weakened systems.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just really happy to hear the one study I heard last week that marijuana apparently helps fight COVID.
Yeah?
It strengthens the lungs or something like that. So it makes the virus. Although one of the late night talk show host guys, he made a great joke about it. He talking about that study, and he said, "Yeah, basically how it works is, the COVID gets into the lungs, mixes with the weed, and all of a sudden it forgets what it was doing."
Oh, okay. You have your scientific study fighting COVID. I have.
Yeah.
There's a
Whiskey.
no.
Damn it.
There was that's anecdotal, but nothing.
There's
Scientific.
nothing that says it doesn't.
True. Wrong. Like, you can. It's Schrodinger's cure. It can and cannot cure at the same time
Yep.
until it's tested. But one of the Rogan guests, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, she was on. She was talking about, or was it Rogan? Anyway, somebody on the Rogan show, they were talking about there was a llama, like a llama. They
spit. Yep.
Has, for whatever reason, they tested this llama, and it had anti-COVID antibodies.
Okay.
So
I'm not drinking llama spit.
you might have to, because they've extracted the antibodies out of this llama, and they're testing it, and these antibodies are killing COVID, like killing the virus. So you might have to go French kiss a llama to get these. But okay,
I promised myself I would never do that again.
you lowered yourself to get yourself through college by doing llama porn. I understand that, but times are changing. Things are rough.
But
Now-
I did it before. Shouldn't those antibodies still be in my system?
Maybe,
Okay.
but okay. Here in the
Maybe that's why I haven't gotten sick.
Oh, but they're saying it was like this one specific llama.
One
Well,
specific llama.
I don't know how.
Was his name Banjo?
I don't know.
Did he have like a red streak down his mane? No. Okay.
No. But they're
Some come hither eyes. And legs for days.
legs for days, snugly all warm. No, that's not right at all. Well, this show is peak. Do the socials.
No, I got another note.
Oh, you got
here.
another note?
I got another note
Holy
here.
shit.
And now this one might chap some asses.
Okay.
Okay. But it's just, this is how I feel. So if you want me to preface this with this is my opinion alone, that's fine.
No rules, no plan,
I know,
no
I know.
net.
But so everywhere on the radio, on TV particularly, there are ads left and right. We're all in this together.
Oh yeah,
Stay strong.
yeah.
From car companies, from whatever companies.
Yep. Please buy our shit.
I'm at the point now where it all feels fucking hollow.
It is.
None of it feels sincere. You're just repeating the same drivel over and over again. None of it means anything. You know what? In my opinion, we're not in this together. Because if we were all in this together, people would be doing what they're supposed to flatten the curve, if you will. Not getting into the conspiracy theories, all that stuff. Okay, people would be doing what they're told, and not pushing past me to get fucking groceries, which happened again today. Stay fucking 6 feet away from me, people. But if we were in this together, you would do that. But people aren't.
No.
So I'm honestly tired of those ads. I'm tired of them.
No. It's now marketing. Now, the latest thing is they're conditioning us, like news. Is if you watch the news, and a lot of it, you'll see the new normal is being bombarded with the new normal talk. So this is the conditioning part of the propaganda. So that's like the stay strong, we're in this together, the new normal. This is the conditioning part of the game. So get ready, because it's going to get worse.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
So-
sure. it's bothering me now because it means nothing.
No.
It
No.
means absolutely nothing. Stop jamming it in my eyeballs.
Yeah.
Or on the radio. Like, no, if you truly believe that, you'd be following the fucking rules. Like, and now it's almost like every company has to throw a message out there just so they can be on trend.
right.
We don't want to look like we're the assholes that
No.
don't care.
No.
Well, if you followed all your steps, you're doing all the precautions you need to do your part.
Yep.
That's all it's needed. You don't have to fucking talk about it.
But you have to talk about it because that you have to keep that the image of the optics of you be doing your part to help flatten the curve. The optics are more important than the actual doing of the thing.
Letterkenny, first season, the fart book episode.
Yes.
Wayne said it best. Like he said, you guys are on Facebook too much already. And Daryl's like, well, how are people going to know how good I did if I don't post my bowling scores?
Exactly.
Who the fuck cares about your bowling scores?
Exactly. That's exactly.
Did you break a world record? No, don't fucking care.
Yep. That's exactly the thing because.
Now, I know I'm a hypocrite. I know I post my shit. I post things once in a while.
Yeah.
I realize that. But half the time when I'm posting it, it's more just I'm bored and hey, I did this thing. Maybe you'll find it interesting. If you don't, I don't give a shit. I don't if you like it or not.
Yeah.
Okay, except this podcast. You got to like this podcast. Come on now. Come on. You know where the love is. Come on.
Tell your friends. The Three Nose Podcast.
Three Nose Podcast.
Found on Anchor,
Hold on.
Spotify.
Yep.
What else you got? You still ranty about the
No, that's the extent of my notes for
no,
this week.
but I agree wholeheartedly that the stay safe, stay strong message is propaganda. There's nothing substantial about any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So now it basically you're being browbeat into like gotta share that you're staying safe and staying strong, right? Oh, hashtag stay safe, stay strong. So if you don't do that,
I just want to point out Mike just did the hashtag fingers when he said that. It looked adorable.
oh yeah, that's what it was. But that's the thing. And like I said, the optics of it, it's hollow. If you show, like it's like every time somebody like thoughts and prayers, hashtag thoughts and prayers. No, you didn't. The only thought that you put into it was enough to put the hashtag thoughts and prayers.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you did. There's nothing involved in that. Now, my pet peeve about what's going on, you know, the miracle, the May 16th miracle.
Yeah, I actually meant to make a note about that as well.
Okay. Have you noticed it's been a week since the miracle?
Yep.
And the signs are still all over the goddamn city?
Yep.
Like, nobody's cleaning that up.
But my my feelings toward that start before that.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So those signs, and I have to use that term loosely because they're like old ratty skids and chunks of plywood and shit.
Yeah, spray painted.
Yeah. So that stuff really popped up about a week before.
Yes.
Okay. I had no idea what the hell it was.
Yeah.
I saw nothing. I heard nothing. I just saw these signs.
May 16th.
May 16 miracle. That's all I saw. Had no idea what it was. And then that Saturday rolls around. And at 12:30, I see the first post on Facebook, across my Facebook page, that said, does anybody know when they're picking up this food for the May 16th miracle? Oh, that's what that's about.
Yeah.
Okay, congratulations, Chatham Kent. They got a massive amount of food. Congratulations. Proud on you. Good job. More power to you. I would have liked to know about it.
They actually did have a fairly big Facebook presence. You might not have seen it, which it's possible. It is possible. I knew about it because I read the Chatham Daily News, like the website. So when I the signs first started
I
to
saw
pop up?
nothing on my Facebook until 12:30 that day. That was the first thing across my entire Facebook that mentioned it at all. Period. I knew nothing about it. So we didn't give because I didn't know.
That's weird. I was like right from the get go. I was like, who's going to clean up this all the signs?
I liken it to the very first Chatham Kent Film Festival from 5 years ago, 6 years, or whatever that was, when I was in college.
Yes.
Okay, when I took my college course. That could have gone and really went somewhere. Mm-hmm. But they didn't advertise it. We knew nothing about it. I only knew about it because my teacher in my media class at the time, her husband is on city council and was involved with it. It's the only reason I even knew it existed and knew it was happening.
I think I knew it happening because you said something.
I might have mentioned something to you. Bellamy was there for Dark Betrayals.
Okay.
This was before Madhouse.
Yes, because that time when I went to the film festival, that's when I reconnected with Bellamy after whatever, and then we started talking again at that, and then he was talking about Dark Betrayals,
and he was starting to work on A Heart's Journey,
right? And that's when I popped into that scene with the idea,
and then Madhouse started it,
right?
Yep.
So that's how that.
But they didn't advertise it.
No, they did not.
So if you're going to have an event, again, the May 16th Miracle, they're very happy with the results. They got a lot, sure. You could have got a lot more.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
They didn't market it very well.
No.
And you're right. Yes, those signs are still out there all over the place.
Right.
And now they're starting to look like trash.
Right. Right. My brother is like, oh, look at you, be fuck. I told my brother, he got it too. He goes, he said something. Oh yeah, I just learned about this just in the nick of time. So he was in the spirit of the miracle of the May 16th. I went, yeah, but he's gonna clean up all the fucking mess. He goes, oh, what's the matter? Don't be so grumpy about that. I said, those signs are gonna be there a week afterwards. Oh no,
and a lot of them still are.
There's a lot of them still there. Mm-hmm. I said they should have had an empty wagon going around afterwards.
There's enough people not working still.
That's what I said. I said, if they want all this free food, have them pick up a sign or two in exchange for this food. Problem solved. Mm-hmm. My brother goes, you fucking can't do that. Those are the old people that can't, because the mentally challenged dude that thinks he's a cat. I said, well, just fucking wave a fucking ball of yarn.
Give him some catnip. He'll go.
It just spiraled into a ridiculous situation, but that's what happens. Anyways, socials.
Hold on, I just had it up. Where'd it go? My screen closed. Okay, so if you're enjoying this podcast, and of course you know you are, you can always reach out to us by email if you have any comments, suggestions, discussions, anything like that. You can always reach us at 3nosepod@gmail.com, and that's 3NOES.
Is that
pod.
the number 3 or the
yes,
word 3?
Number 3.
The number 3.
Oh yeah, I better specify that.
Yes.
So number 3, NOESPOD@gmail.com is our email. You can find us on Twitter at the number 3 again, NOES podcast. That is our Twitter. And then, of course, we're on the Facebook with the Facebook page, the 3 Nose Podcast page. And, links get posted there and discussions.
Yep.
One person mentioned that they were, what did they binge watch again?
Tiger King, Community.
Yeah, I'm going through Community right now.
There was a couple things that they were going through. You can find this podcast like our home right now is Anchor FM.
Anchor FM, ANCHOR, just like a boat anchor.
Just like a boat anchor. Okay. Anchor FM, that's like when we post the link on our Facebook page, it'll take you right to our Anchor page where you can listen to the show right on the Anchor page. You can also find links to find the podcast on Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Casts, what's the other one?
iTunes.
I know it's on iTunes because it popped up there for me. Yep. what's the other one? Crap. Overcast, I think. So there's
You mentioned that one before.
yeah. So there's six or seven different ways for you to get this podcast and put it in your ear holes. So
And you know you want to.
no, why wouldn't you? Just like I said, if you like it, drop us a line, either email or on the Facebook page, or on Twitter, and we will.
Anything interesting? If you find any interesting discussion topics, stories, whatever, please share.
Yeah, well, like I said, and like, this is just an open conversation.
We live in a small corner of Ontario, Canada.
yeah.
Like
So
not a lot of news moving around here.
and like we really can't go anywhere to do anything interesting to talk to to everybody
No.
so far.
Yep.
Other than like every other weekend, I go to my friend's place and drink 8 beers and have.
You know, I was on the cusp of putting my toe into the wrestling world, and that got taken away from me. Damn it! But that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah. So, thank you for stopping by the Three Notes
Yes.
podcast.
Thank you, and we will see you again next week.
Yes.
So for the Three Nose Podcast, I'm Jason,
I'm Mike.
and we will talk to you again. Bye-bye.
Game over, man. It's game over.
This has been the Three Nose Podcast. Thank you for listening.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.